Okay, so anyone out there trying to keep up with uh, India and Nigeria relations, buckle up. We've got some pretty big news here. Indian Prime Minister Modi is actually heading to Nigeria
Yeah.
for the first time since 2007.
Wow.
That's a pretty long gap.
It is.
So we're going to try and figure out just what this visit could mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is interesting to note the gap, right? Because 2007 was also when the two countries first established that strategic partnership.
Right.
And, that's basically diplomat speak for we're going to be friends for a long time and work together on a bunch of different things.
Right.
It's a big deal. And I think, this visit could really show a re-energizing of that whole partnership.
Yeah, the article even mentions that Modi's arriving November 16th,
Okay.
2024, so it's coming up soon.
Right.
And he's got a state visit with President Tinubu on Sunday at the presidential villa in Abuja.
Okay. A weekend visit.
Yeah, it seems pretty quick for a state visit.
Yeah, I mean, state visits are usually, very formal events.
Right.
Lots of ceremonies, lots of symbolism, and, they don't usually pack all that into a weekend trip unless they really want to move things forward quickly.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, what's the big rush?
Right, absolutely. I think, we'll have to see how it all plays out, but that definitely tells us that, both sides really want to get things done.
Yeah, and speaking of getting things done, the article mentions they'll be signing some MOUs,
Okay.
Memoranda of Understanding.
Right.
Those are basically agreements to cooperate on certain things.
Yeah, so they're not like legally binding treaties or anything, but they definitely lay out a plan for how they'll work together in the future. And we don't know exactly what these MOUs will cover.
Right.
But given that strategic partnership framework, we could be looking at agreements on trade, investment, defense, maybe even cultural exchange.
Yeah. And you mentioned that India is a major player on the global stage, and Nigeria is obviously a powerhouse in Africa.
Right.
They both have really huge populations, too. India has the second largest in the world, and Nigeria's is growing super fast.
It is.
What kind of impact could these closer ties have, especially, from an economic point of view?
That is the question, right? And I think increased trade and investment are almost a given. India's really strong in technology and pharmaceuticals, and then Nigeria has these vast natural resources
Right.
and a booming consumer market.
Got
So
it.
there's a lot of potential there for them to work together.
So and we might see, Indian tech companies setting up in Nigeria
Yeah,
or joint ventures in, like, the pharmaceutical industry.
absolutely. And we could even see them working together on renewable energy.
Huh.
India's been really investing in solar power, and Nigeria has huge potential there too.
Right.
It could be a win-win for everybody, boosting both economies, creating jobs
Yeah.
in both countries.
So for those of us following along at home, what should we be paying attention to as this visit unfolds?
Well, I think, first of all, definitely keep an eye out for which MOUs they actually announced and what sectors they're focused on, because that'll give us a clue about where they're really going to prioritize their efforts. And then, watch for any big announcements about joint ventures or major investment deals. Those are the things that really show that they're making concrete progress.
This visit is definitely a big step forward. But with Nigeria's recent political instability, is there a chance that these agreements could sort of fall apart in the long run?
That's a great point, and I think political stability is really key for any long-term economic partnership.
Right.
If Nigeria continues to have those kind of instability problems, it could make investors nervous and slow down some of the progress they make during this visit.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to keep in mind as we watch this all unfold.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot riding on this visit with, potential benefits, but also some risks.
Yeah,
It's a good reminder that global politics are complicated.
absolutely.
Well, this deep dive has given us a lot to think about,
It has.
and I'm really curious to see what happens next. Thanks for joining us,
Thanks for having me.
and we'll see you on the next deep dive.
Sounds good.